Hey, Fear Minimalist, it's Sophia Lark of thefearminimalist.com, providing trauma recovery tools to help women of color heal their mother wound. Today I'm going to share 5 ways to help you rewrite the story of your life as you navigate through the healing journey to heal the mother wound. So keep watching. For the best trauma recovery tips, tools, and strategies, be sure to hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so that you will never miss a video when I upload new content every single week. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here today. I am a survivor of mother wound trauma, a licensed professional counselor, a certified clinical trauma professional, helping women of color resolve the effects of the mother wound and build resilience. So healing the mother wound requires self-definition. It is new narratives that you create to position yourself as the master of your destiny, the master of your new story, so that you don't consistently feel like the wounded child who is being acted upon and you're helpless to do anything about it. So one of the ways that you begin to do this is to identify your current life story. What are the words, the phrases, the narratives that you're using about yourself, using about your life and your relationships? Typically, the words that we use are indicative of how we think and feel about ourselves and about our interactions with other people. And these words can also indicate that there is an unmet need that needs to be healed. And so when you are thinking about how do I have conversations with other people, what do I end up typically talking about when I'm having conversations with other people, and how do they respond to the things that I'm saying? You can also consider what type of things replay in your head and you ruminate about throughout the day or even throughout the week, or maybe even over some extended period of time. What things consistently play in your head? That can be an indication also of your current life story. How do you describe your life story in terms of whether or not you are pursuing progress and development in whatever endeavors you are engaged in? Or do you typically describe your life in terms of the glass half empty, because you can't just get your mother to see what she needs to do to change, or maybe even some other relationships? Those are some ways that you can start questioning, digging deeper into what your current life story is, the words, the phrases, the narratives that you're using, and what story is actually following you around in your daily life. So another way that you can rewrite your life story is to use reframing to help you to start seeing your life differently. My reframing strategy, I teach this not just for people who struggle with the mother wound, but also people who struggle with career issues, relationship issues, parenting issues. So this framework can be applied to any situation where you're having trouble with your narratives, the words that you're using to describe your life. And so the first thing that we work through is to identify what the problem actually is. And so what limiting beliefs, as I always call, unhelpful thinking patterns that you're engaging in. What are these patterns that you're engaging in that keep you stuck in this cycle of wanting something, desiring something, but not being able to get it because you're not actually resolving the real problem? And so it can be, there are various unhelpful thinking habits. In psychology, they're called cognitive distortions. And so you may not know necessarily if you're engaging in these, because you may not know what these unhealthy thinking habits are. But, say for instance, you engage in something called splitting. Splitting is also known as all or nothing thinking or black and white thinking. It's where you have the tendency to engage in either or types of thoughts, where something either works for you or it doesn't. There's no gray area. There's no room in between for you to have some alternatives. And so use for instance, if you're giving a presentation at work and your boss or your colleagues don't really respond in an overly enthusiastic way, or even in the way that you would have liked for them to have responded. And so at the end of the presentation, you go, wow, maybe I'm not a good presenter. You might even go as far as to say, man, I'm so bad, I'm just a loser. You don't see that, there was maybe people were tired. Maybe there was something that you thought in your head that, oh, I forgot to say this and this would have made it so much better. And so instead of it just being a situation where maybe you didn't get the response you liked and you could do better next time, it's I'm a complete loser. Because I didn't win, I'm a loser. And that is really one of the ways that you can keep yourself stuck in these dangerous narratives that don't move you forward. So the second step in the Reframe strategy is to challenge assumptions and to collect the evidence. Now, we don't just challenge things, what we assume, based on how we think about them, but we also collect evidence to the contrary. So, we'll ask questions such as, is this thought that I'm having, is this thinking pattern based on primarily emotion or fact? What is the evidence that the way that I'm thinking is true? How do I test this? What do I need to go do? Do I need to go interview people? Do I need to get their exact words and phrases of how they describe? Let's take, for instance, the presentation that we talked about. How did you like this presentation? What things did you take away? And so that would be essentially what you would do to confirm whether or not the thought that you're having, the process that you're engaged in, is actually based on emotion or primarily fact. And once you have some answers to that are pretty clear, then you can move to, how would I interpret this differently? What kind of alternative thoughts could I have in response to their feedback? What other ways could I interpret this feedback? And so that is essentially how you work on that step in the reframing process. The next step in the reframing strategy is to structure the new narrative. So you've identified the problem and you've challenged the assumptions, and now you have a pretty good idea of if your thoughts are actually based on emotion or fact. Now it's time to structure the new narrative. Now, this lays the foundation for you actually writing the new story of your life moving forward. How you're going to talk about your life, how you're going to describe the situations in your life, what kind of language you're going to use when you are talking about your life. This is going to lay the foundation for that. And so let's take the example of your relationship with your mom. Of course, we talk about the mother wound, so that would obviously seem like an appropriate example. So let's say that we're in structuring this new narrative. We're going to say, I want to move from the narrative that says, look at what this is doing to me. I don't know if I'm ever going to get over this if my mom doesn't come to her senses and say, I'm sorry. So we move from that to, yes, I love my mom and I want us to have a good relationship. But you know what? I realize this. It's my job to heal myself, not to heal my mother. I can still love her, but I can also choose how I want to involve her in my life in a way that doesn't make me feel helpless, doesn't make me feel invalidated or unsupported. Because when we shift that narrative in that way, it moves us from being this person that's being acted upon by this powerful authority figure. We shift from a state of helplessness to being empowered. And so that is what the foundation that this part of the reframe strategy lays for us to later write the story of our lives moving forward. And the last step in the reframe strategy is to evaluate the effectiveness of the new reframe or the new narrative. So let's try to emphasize, how does it feel? How does it feel to have this new story about your life, or to have this new structure where you're going to build this new story of your life? Does it feel more empowering? Does it feel more hopeful? Does it allow you to see alternatives, ways that you can get your needs met without having to succumb to the pressures of your mother? How does it feel? And maybe you're not quite there yet. Maybe you're saying, I think I'm getting the reframe. Let me practice a little bit more. You keep practicing until it feels true and liberating for you, and that's what you want. The third tip in rewriting your life story is now to write the story. So we've laid the foundation by structuring the new narrative from where we are to where we want to be. And now it's time to write the story. So based on the work that you've done in the reframe, how have the new insights and the new perspective, how have these inspired hope? What is something that possibly you were afraid of? And by doing this work, it has helped you harness the courage to overcome. And if you're still in the process, maybe you're saying, I don't quite know where I am, but I can see a little bit more clarity now. Keep going. The things that encourage you to keep going when you don't meet your goals right away. What are those things? Hang on to those. Allow them to inspire you to keep pursuing writing this new story of your life. That is really how you get to creating the story that you want to hear about your life for the rest of your life. How are we doing so far? Guys, is this making sense to you? Is there something that's really resonating? Let me know in the comments below. The fourth tip for rewriting your life story is to recognize which parts of your story have come to an end. So based on your new insights on the work that you've done to reframe, to identify the problem, and to structure a new narrative, what parts of the story no longer make sense for you? They are no longer acceptable as part of your story for describing your life, who you are in relation to other people, and who you are in relation to the world. So this could be people, places, things. What are these things, and how are you going to, if they no longer make sense for you, how are you going to excise them from your story and from your life so that you can move forward in the way that you desire? And the last and the final step of rewriting your life story is to live intentionally. Now, to do this is going to require a plan that spells out the steps that you're going to take to get the things that you desire, to get your needs met. What is this plan going to look like for you? It may look like, a new way of interacting with your mother, a new way of having her in your life. We're no longer going to communicate in a particular way. We're no longer going to just show up whenever we get ready just because I'm your daughter. We're going to have a new way of interacting with each other. The plan may include new spiritual practices. Maybe through this process of rewriting your life story, you've decided that I really need to connect with something greater than myself. So, whatever steps you want to take to make that happen, that can be a part of the plan. Or it could not be. Maybe you don't care about that. An environmental change. Maybe you might need to move or move out of a particular area you live, or you may have to change jobs. Consider those things that are going to help you to move your life forward so that when you come back to revisit that plan, you can track whether or not you're trending in the right direction or if you need to do more work to ensure that you're meeting your goals. So now you know 5 tips to help you rewrite your life story and to help you practice the strategies that we learned in this video. Be sure to download my free Rewriting Your Life Story practice worksheet. Also, be sure to download the One Goal practice worksheet to help you set goals for getting your needs met. And then finally, sign up for our Fear Minimalist Success Community, where we'll be releasing new training videos, recovery worksheets, and other helpful resources to help you navigate your healing journey through the mother wound. So be sure to click the appropriate links below to get those resources. Also, I want to invite you to connect with me on Instagram at Fear Minimalist and Facebook at Fear Minimalist, where we can carry on the conversation in more depth about healing the mother wound. All right, everybody. Well, that will do it for today. If you liked this video, hit the like button below, share with your friends, drop a comment below to let me know what you took away from this video, what things were helpful, what things are going to help you plan for rewriting your life story so you can get the life that you desire. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. Click the notification bell so that you'll never miss a video when I upload new content every single week. And remember that the sun is going to rise and shine bright tomorrow. The question is, are you going to rise with it and allow your best self to shine? I hope you do, and I will see you next time. Bye.